Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Well, whatever.
How about them Cowboys?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast right here on the Chop Sports Media YouTube channel. And, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, either Apple, Spotify, Google, all that fun stuff. It's Dave Sturchio. It is nationally known comedian Bret Ernst. And, of course, the Grinch is back in the building. America's fan, Keith Ernst. Fellas, we're 1 week removed from the debacle that was. Keith, I'll start with you. You feeling any kind of different? You're okay now? Are you recovered? Are you still pissed? How you feeling now?
I'm still hurting a little bit, man. You know, it was rough. It was rough watching. I'm not gonna lie, man. I watched the games very what is it? Sparsely. How do you say it?
Sporadically?
Maybe. I don't know. But you know,
sparingly.
Yeah. I guess I just followed the scores more, and you know, I can't watch after the Cowboys lose. I'm a little bitch, dude. I can't watch football. It's tough. Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite way. I need like another fix of football to like say something bad happened to another team where I'm just like, all right, they got bounced. Now I feel okay.
By the way, I don't feel any better that the Packers took the Niners the distance, because if you saw what the Niners did, they did what we were supposed to do, what good teams are supposed to do. Fair. You fucking win the game by picking off Trey Lance. I almost called him Trey Lance. Freaking Palmer twice. Right?
Palmer.
No, Jordan Palmer. What the fuck's wrong, man?
Jordan Love.
See, I told you, I'm all picking off Jordan Love twice when they had to. I meant, you know, the defense stepping up when they had to. That's what good teams do. And they took down a very hot Packer team, which we didn't even come close to doing, like not even fucking close. So that is still the most embarrassing loss in Dallas Cowboy history, everybody. At least playoff history, I should say, what we experienced last weekend. And
based off the text message thread, Bret, are we – I just feel like Bret's ready to just completely check out of the Dallas Cowboys altogether. How are we feeling a week later? I know, obviously, you said you weren't able to really get to a lot of the games over the weekend, but, you know, a lot of stuff happening in Dallas world. I mean, they made headlines again by being now only one of two teams to not reach the NFC title game in the longest drought to go with the Redskins. But how are we feeling about the current state of the Cowboys a week later?
I told you, man, I'm done. I'm over it. I mean, this
all
is
right. Well, that'll do it for another episode.
I'm over it, man. Fucking over it. It's been a lot, bro. Look, this was a great season. It was a lot of fun just to fizzle out like that and lose like that unnecessarily, you know, and then to watch these other teams that I know we could beat, just still moving forward. And, you know, it hurts.
Yeah. So I listen, the news that we have based off of last week's conversation, we obviously talked about the Packers game, the way it went down, now it's officially probably the worst loss in Dallas Cowboys playoff history is concerned, as far as most embarrassing at home nonetheless. Yeah. But the news that broke about 3 days later, I guess Jerry sat on it for a little while. We had discussed on this. I was against it. You guys were for it. But the Dallas Cowboys are bringing back Mike McCarthy for his lame duck year. They will not be giving him an extension throughout the course of the year. They won't be giving him an extension now. He's on it. It's his last ride. Now. What's up?
But Jerry did that with what's his name? Garrett twice. And then, you know, if he has a successful year, he'll extend it. But I remember him doing that to Garrett. He brought him to his last year without extending it.
All right. Well,
Look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Was that what the lame duck thing means? I never heard that.
I thought it's a lame duck when you don't have a contract, like when you don't have anything right past what your current situation is. But in any event, McCarthy's back, and you guys were kind of on board with that for the familiarity, I guess, aspect of it all. But Keith, your reaction to
it wasn't the real. It was more the fact that Dak Prescott and that offense performed the best I've seen since his rookie year.
Right.
and I'll say this again, our offense was not responsible for any of our losses. I know you guys beg to differ in the Miami game, but I don't, because Dak pulled us ahead and our defense had to stop the Dolphins, and they didn't. Again, when for a stupid personal foul in the face mask, they ran all over us, easy catches all the way to field goal range. Dolphins beat us, but it was our defense this year. It wasn't our offense, which shocks me, because that's why I want McCarthy back. And that's why I think Dak said what he said. Now, as far as being like you guys want, like I said, you want a motivator, you want someone to give magical speeches to make this fucking team, play better or whatever. When I think that's more on the players than the coaches. I think there needs to be more players getting in people's fucking faces and just being like, hey man, what the fuck? Let's, they still are. I know we see Micah doing that. We think it's Micah or D-Law. Is it though? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if they have that Michael Irvin. I don't know if they have that player that's, gonna, call people out. Like you even said, when CD missed that catch, Dak and McCarthy were over there trying to console him. It's like, you're right. You go over there and say, what the fuck, dude? Catch the goddamn fucking ball, and you walk away. You need somebody to do that. Light a fire under them. Shit like that.
The problem with that though is that when you leave it to a player, it has to be assigned. So eventually it still comes from the coach, right? If not, you're going to have 10 chefs yelling and screaming that think they should. Like right now, personality wise, is it Micah? Could it be Zach Martin? Could it be Dak? Could it be CeeDee Lamb? Could Aubrey have the right to talk shit?
I disagree. I disagree.
No, I'm saying is that when Irv, when you get that type of combination, look, I'm glad, Mike, we're giving him another year. I think it's another year to work on stuff if the extension is open, right some wrongs. But I agree with my brother. As good as our defense was, we were that bad. We weren't consistent when we needed to be.
And from everything that I gather, sometimes, and this is what happens a lot, I feel like in Dallas, like they get these coordinators that are highly coveted throughout the entire season, where their people are like, oh, these guys might be in line for some jobs, right? And then come playoff time, the Cowboys traditionally have been bounced either in the wild card or the divisional round. And all of a sudden that luster, that spark that people wanted, realized, all right, well, maybe this coach ain't the answer because they can't perform in the big game and you can't coach those boys up. So I really feel like, and I felt like that happened a lot with Kellen Moore. How many times do we think Kellen Moore was out the door and he just wound up being the offensive coordinator again, right? Until he finally decided to leave. I feel like we're in that mode right now with Dan Quinn. Right now, most of the fan base want him gone. As good as he was, they want him gone. Now the problem is, because of this last game, I don't know if there's much shine on Dan Quinn's name right now, except for Seattle because of the Legion of Boom familiarity and shit, and maybe that's a possibility. But I have a feeling that Dan Quinn's going to be back, and not because we chose him to become
hold
back.
on, then. Here's my question to the fans: who the fuck do you want?
Well,
what defensive coordinator do you know?
Well, you're going to get Brett. You're going to get the outlandish people coming at you saying, "I want this guy. I want Mike Zimmer. I want this one. I want Belichick.
All of those guys have failed too.
Like, I'm just telling you what you're going to get.
Well, this is what I say. This is what I say, and I kind of see and I see a trend with Jerry now, a little bit. Now, if you look at the best defensive coordinators we've had in the 90s, they weren't defensive coordinators really anywhere else. We were finding them. Fresh, good linebacker coach, defensive lineman. You look at Dave Wannstedt. First time he was a defensive coordinator was with us. Butch Davis. First time he was a defensive coordinator. Even Mike Zimmer. The last time we had the number one defense in the NFL was with Mike Zimmer, who wasn't previously a famous defensive coordinator. Now it seems like we're going after defensive coordinators that have already proved themselves on another team. For example, we went with Monty Kiffin, which is one of the worst defenses we've ever had. Yeah. But we liked it because he was the Tampa guy. Oh, hey. And then we went with Rod Marinelli, who did fantastic with us, but ended up being let go after a few years. And then we go with we're going with Quinn because the Legion of Doom. It's like, why don't we go after a younger guy that's a good linebacker coach or good D-line coach, or say a Charlie Partridge from Pittsburgh, or somebody that's Pittsburgh College, who's an awesome football coach, college coach, a young guy to come in and be that defensive coordinator instead of getting somebody that everyone knows. And that's what we're not talking about, guys. Did you know? Listen to this. This is crazy. The 6 coaches that Dan Quinn coached with from Seattle to Atlanta, okay, that either coached with him or under him, they abused his defenses. They abused them from the Green Bay to fucking Seattle. So there's something to be said about that. How is that all 6 fucking coaches that he coached under, and can't name every team that's kind of a head coach or abused Dan Quinn. There might be something to that. Maybe they know something about his defense. Maybe
so you're saying some fresh blood would do us right because nobody can really have it.
Because we keep going for these guys. Like now you're probably hearing Vrabel. Hey, let's get rid of him and get Vrabel in. But maybe do we want? I know Vrabel's a young coach and proven and all this, but so is Quinn kind of. But maybe we go where that's somebody that nobody fucking knows that can bring a defense where, they don't have tape on them yet. Somebody with a brilliant mind, somebody that, but I meant the whole part about it that's going to be hard is I know a lot of these players are close to Quinn,
Right.
But you got to get over that. So,
and you're getting that whole, again, I mean, we can go over another topic right after this, but you're getting the whole Max Crosby effect where Crosby started barking saying, hey, if Antonio Pierce isn't the coach here, I want out. Trade me. Get me out of here. So he said that. So you're getting that from Micah Parsons. You're getting that. And they'll say, if DQ ain't here, man, you might as well get rid of me.
Yeah, he said hopefully he'll take me with him or something.
Something to that effect. And I'm like,
well, they're kind of grabbing each other's back, and there's nothing they can do about it.
I get that, and that's fine.
And if they want to fucking do that, fine. I mean, look, we want to win games, and if Dan Quinn's not the DC and they want to follow him somewhere else, we got to deal with it. We got to get somebody in there.
I put it out on X, Twitter. I put it out that I felt like Al Harris may have deserved a rub. And now that McCarthy's staying, maybe. But now, a lot of people fire back at me saying, what does Al Harris know about running a defense? He runs the secondary. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. The guy plays defense. It's not like, they play defense all
fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, what's he know about well, I don't know. He played the game at the highest level. I don't know.
Look at Ray Horton, bro. Look at Ray Horton. Fucking safety for the Cowboys, ended up being an awesome defensive coordinator. I mean, there's a lot of DBs. Fucking Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards, right.
Yeah,
another great example. People just don't understand.
Again, that's my point with the fans. They don't even know what the fuck they're saying. I mean, dude, everybody that is a coordinator played a position. What do they think? That they play all fucking 11 positions?
Yeah. Yeah, one year I lined up as a nose tackle. The next year I shifted to safety.
I was a corner, a safety, a nose guard, middle linebacker, edge. What the fuck? People are so stupid.
And that's where our fan base is at right now.
You know who I'd love as our defensive coordinator, and I know he'd never fucking do it, ever, because he's making way too much money, is Romo, man.
Defensive coordinator?
Defensive coordinator, bro. Because he understands offenses. He calls offenses out. He knows the fucking plays. And he's even come on record saying that. Because they're like, would you ever be a coach? He goes, if I ever did it, I'd be a defensive coordinator because I understand what offenses do.
Interesting.
I know it sounds crazy, but, what we're just saying, you don't have to. I mean, somebody that understands an offense and how it works also understands how to stop an offense. You understand what I'm saying?
Very true.
And look, we all know Tony Romo is not the most athletic guy, but goddamn was he fucking smart.
Oh, dude. Listening to him is a treat every time he's behind.
Even as a quarterback on the field. I mean, he had a good arm, but I mean, it was mostly his, how smart he was. That made him so great on the field,
Yeah.
His intelligence.
So the Cowboys, obviously Cowboys Twitter and social media have been going off the rails a little bit. I don't know how much you can make of all this stuff. Obviously, with the return of Mike McCarthy, it lit a fire under multiple members of some of our star Cowboys families. It's unfortunate that this kind of shit happens because it's like, Tad Prescott, Dak's brother, has come out and said, that he's trying to get him out of Dallas. And then Micah Parsons' brother says, you're going to miss him when he's gone. alluding to the fact that like he's on his way out or whatever. And then fucking CeeDee Lamb's mom, I don't know if you guys saw, but she went completely fucking off the rails with CeeDee Lamb saying Dak ain't it.
Why the fuck are people's family members commenting? This is the problem with social media.
Yeah,
like,
I know,
first
crazy.
of all, why would you allow? I mean, they could say what they want, but I would be like, at dinner, shut the fuck up, Keith. Why are you tweeting my personal business? Like, Mom, Carol, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you, why do they even have a say?
Well, like Micah did go out and try to put a little the flame out. He said, whatever my brother says are his own views and they're not mine. So he tried to put the fire out, but whatever. It's just like the sky is falling. Huh? Keith. The sky's falling right now in Dallas. It is. And there's a lot of moving parts. We're about to see an NFC and an AFC championship game on Sunday. Obviously, all four teams have their own individual stories. That I look at the Niners now after that Packers game, and I'm like, shit, man, we definitely could have went toe to toe with the Niners. The Lions we've already beaten. How? Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about that no more. I'm eligible.
It's still frustrating that they still think they were right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we would have. I mean, I just think I'm just saying. I mean, we were really guys. We were awful at linebacker, man. Fucking awful.
Yeah.
I mean, we were exposed, bro. We were. I mean, if the Packers weren't going to do it, someone else was going to do it. We were fucking awful. So I meant, I don't know. I'm not saying it just sucks when your team is out of it. I don't know. I don't know if we would have made it.
Well, no, he was talking about Detroit. I'm like,
no, he mentioned 49ers.
Yeah, I said we could. I think we could have stood toe to toe with them based off of what I saw them do with Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look,
what he said was Detroit. We won't talk about that win. And I'm like, talking about that stupid fucking call. That they called back. That's what he was talking about, the 2-point conversion.
And now
that's
I
why
want Detroit to win it all.
Well, that's why I'm saying is that people are still bringing it up. It's like you're fucking generic. If I told you he's not covered, and then he's not eligible to catch. Nobody got hosed worse than us if that would have counted.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because we suck.
There's the sound clip of the day. Anyway, look, the Cowboys.
I hate this fucking team. How about that one?
It's an abusive relationship. It really
is. This is a good time to bring up my top you calls of the season.
Wait, what did CD's mom say? What did she say?
You don't know?
Dak ain't it.
That's it. Yeah.
With an exclamation point.
There's like 3 exclamation points. if not leaned on the exclamation point.
That's the thing. Look, her son just lost. I'm sure she's very vocal. She's upset. You're right, bro. She needs to get the fuck off. But that's why, kids aren't on Facebook when their parents are anymore. I mean, she's posted on Facebook. I mean, it's just whatever. It's stupid. And you got to get used to stuff like that. And I'm sure CD reached out to Dak and said, yo, my mom's, I'm sure they settled that shit.
I'm sure they did too. I would like to be a fly on the wall when he comes home from oh my God. You know what's really funny? I mean, it's not funny. It sucks. But CeeDee Lamb put out a post. It was a Tostitos commercial that just got released, right? He's like, when I'm preparing for the big game and to host a party, right? So here's CeeDee Lamb talking about hosting a fucking Super Bowl party, and he turned the comments off on Instagram so nobody can get on him because you know the fans are gonna be like, oh yeah, motherfucker, how come you ain't in the game, bitch? Right? Shit like that. But
going back to Dak's brother and what he said, it's like, look, man, there's no one's picking on Dak. It's part of being the quarterback of America's team. It is. It just comes with that. Same thing fucking happened to Romo. The same thing would have happened to Aikman if we had social media in the late 90s. I mean, it's just what it is. It's being the quarter. It's like being the president of the United States. I know it's kind of, but you're going to get made fun of. You're going to be scrutinized. It's just what it is. And that's why, I laugh sometimes. I know, Sturch, you say it's like, a certain quarterback, Brock Purdy has 4 interceptions. Nobody's coming after him like they do Dak. Yeah, because Purdy's not the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. When you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, it's just what it is. It comes with the job. If you can't fucking take that, then get out. And I think Dak can, because Dak has responded after ex-NFL players have called him ass after he's played. They've been fucking brutally dishonest with him, criticizing him the way they do, and he comes back and plays very well. So I think his brothers, and I get it, because I go to bat with Bret. So I went to bat for Bret a few times, where you get upset when people are shitting on a family member, a sibling, or even a best friend, where you're going to come out and say something, and that's all his brother's doing. But I know Dak understands the job of being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he handles it very well, and he does.
Well, again, though, when what you're looking at is misdirected anger. I mean, like, I agree with my brother. Dak was not the problem at all. I mean, look, you're playing when you're playing a playoff team. That means you're playing one of the top 7 in the NFL. It should be a dogfight. And, we couldn't stop them. Our defense just could not stop them. We put points on the board, that's for sure, right? I mean, even with the pick 7, the pick 6, we're still fucking in the game. It was our defense that shit the bed. People want to blame Dak, and they want to, but it was to me, we lost in the coaching room. That's what it looked like, because when your players are lined up and they're pointing to their heads and looking around, and that's all fucking coaching. That means they did some changes in the during the week that confused people, made it complicated. And now I can't just go out there and fucking knock heads and play. I'm overthinking. And it was fucking obvious. There was so many times that the defense looked fucking lost. I even texted that. Mm-hmm. They look like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then CD was dropping balls. Hey, CD's mom, how the fuck was that Dak's fault? You know what I mean?
And I'm going to bring up something very minute. And this happens. We played in high school. We played a high school called Dillard High School, which isn't minute. There's so many. I mean, fucking Isaac Bruce went there. I mean, it's South Florida, where I was in high school there. And there was actually we played that when we played them with my school. We changed the whole defense, and I didn't know why. And I didn't. And it was a big divisional game that we were having, and it was funny because the same thing happened. It's like, why didn't we just do? And I know I know comparing it to the NFL is silly. It's high school, but it's almost on the same level. Like, why are you? We're in week 8 in high school, and we're putting a whole new defense together this week. A new formation.
And was that just based off the opponent?
Yeah, because they were Lamont Kane was the quarterback who played at U. They were a really, really powerful team. So they tried to do something. And I think it would have been much better if we just ran like a basic 50 defense or whatever, but they did this crazy shit. People were out of position. It just wasn't ready. So it kind of, I'm just comparing it to that, because maybe that's what, Dan Quinn did. And maybe he did at another level thinking,
it's exactly what I think happened. I mean, again, you don't need to read into it. The players were looking around like, where the fuck am I going? Now, on the flip side, nobody pointed fingers at him. If anything, they're defending him because of the type of guy he is. See, look, what you need when you had brought up earlier about the defensive coordinators not being well known, and we, because we groomed them in-house a lot as well, right? There's a combination of things you need. First of all, you need a disciplinarian head coach that players are afraid that they're going to get cut, like a Jimmy Johnson. Also, what you need is somebody who can spot talent. And that's another thing that we overlook at how good Jimmy was, right? So you get those players on the team, and now you can have a coordinator if the players are going to listen, right? They got to be afraid. They have to be disciplined. And together, it's almost like, hey, you want me to go get your dad type shit? You know what I mean? Oh, you fucked up in school. And your mom's like, well, we wouldn't know, but you know what I mean? I'm going to go get your father. Then you're like, no, it's like the Avengers that are like, you really, we got a fucking Hulk. You want us to let that on you? Coordinators need that with a head coach. They need somebody to threaten them with. They need somebody. And again, I know they're supposed to be men and they're supposed to be professionals. I hate to break it to you, but they're not, okay? A lot of them have been pushed through high school, college, had no repercussions for their actions, just focus on that and have the mind of a fucking child.
Well, Brett, do you think that's
that.
do you think that's the way?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
Well,
Right.
my question.
I agree with some of it. I don't agree with all of it.
Well, my question, I guess, to both of you guys is that the times we're living in now, guys. You know what I mean? Like it ain't the Jimmy Johnson era where you can cut somebody for having asthma. You know what I'm saying? You cut somebody for having asthma now, the coach is getting fired and might face criminal charges. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the era we're living in.
All right, but my whole thing is everyone is acting like we're acting like McCarthy isn't. How did we know?
How I know, or how I guess is.
I'm saying, guess or no.
Body language on the sidelines. His arms are crossed, and he ain't saying shit to nobody ever.
Well, that's Tom Landry did that for years. I mean, that doesn't.
I know. He went to 5 fucking Super Bowls.
Well, my point to that is that's what I'm saying. We don't fucking know. I mean, we're all look. Mike McCarthy took a team and won a fucking Super Bowl. Regardless of how you guys want to say, at least he did that. Okay?
I would never take that away from him. No way.
I know, but I'm saying though, to say that maybe he has another way of doing things. I don't know. We're assuming that he's not being a disciplinarian. We don't fucking know behind closed doors.
Did you see that Terry Bradshaw interview where he was talking about Chuck Noll? And he didn't like Chuck Noll. They didn't get along. And he said it. He goes, I always say this is the last time I'm talking about Chuck Noll, and I'm talking about him again. He said he was the type of coach and wasn't the type of person I liked, but it's the reason why we won 4 Super Bowls. Same thing with Landry. None of the players really liked him. They never, I think Staubach was the only one that got along with him. Jimmy Johnson, same thing. You had the big 3 that loved him, but there were guys that hated him. I mean, he, and Michael needed that. You have these types of players, dude. You have grown men on Twitter complaining. All right. And I get it. It's a different NFL. And I agree with your point. We don't know if he's like that. We don't know. But what I'm saying is we play undisciplined. We're lost on the field. And, we were getting stupid penalties in the season. I mean, dumb shit, that cost us some games. There is a lack of discipline, it looks like, we're not watching every game either. I mean, and what I'm trying to say is that no, we're not. And I'll bring this up again. It's just like,
not watching every Cowboy game.
No, every NFL game where teams are responding. They're making stupid penalties.
I thought you meant Cowboys.
No, they're sorry. There could be a face mask on a play that, or jumping off sides. It's just these teams are responding. With the athletes or making plays. I mean, there are stupid plays happening all over the NFL. We're just referring to ours, and I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just feel like we don't. I think it's more important to have that leader. I mean, when Jesse Hawley talked about it, and I brought it up that you had someone, Michael Bennett, come into the fucking locker room at his first week in week 7 that one season, and he took over the locker room, like. Remember when he was that shows it that D-Law was there. Mark Parsons wasn't there yet. That shows you that where's our fucking leadership? You're gonna let this fucking guy just come in here and take over the locker room right now? It just shows that you need that type of fucking player. I mean, and I don't know if we have that on this team.
I was going to ask you, is that player on this team right now?
I don't know. Maybe it's Micah. I don't know, but I don't see Micah yelling at the defense.
I think it's Dak Prescott. I do.
I don't know either, man. But is it? Because he's fucking. You said he's consoling a CeeDee Lamb when he drops the ball.
There was no consoling of Dak. What you saw from Dak Prescott on the sidelines was him yelling at CeeDee Lamb. That was yelling. I'm talking about McCarthy. McCarthy with his hand on his shoulder, like it's going to be okay. And then they asked him in the press conference, what was that all about? He's like, we were just going over a route. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's complete.
But it's not. I don't know if it's Dak. It can't be Dak. I mean, Dak has been there. He was there when Bennett was there. I mean, it's I don't know, man.
But I see Dak Prescott now as year 8 now going into year 9 as a much different guy than he was when Bennett was there. I think Dak Prescott is a completely different quarterback than he was.
I get it, but he was still 3-4 seasons in. He's
Right.
the
And
quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
sometimes you still can't feel like you're the leader of the locker room when there's certain players in the locker room.
Well,
in
all
addition.
I'm saying is he can't be because of what I saw. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
I got you. Well, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys players, there's a bunch that we may lose because free agency is a thing. Obviously, all signs are still pointing to Dak Prescott getting an extension to alleviate the cap, kick the can down the road, make Dak a Cowboy quarterback until he's ready to retire at this point. Dak's now on the other side of 30. So we'll see how that number, what the number starts to look like as things go on. But the following players are free agents, and I'll ask you both if it's a keep them or cut them, or can't say cut them because their contracts are up. So sign them or walk, right? So the first
All right,
one,
so we're assuming that we're going to have to deal with the market with this.
yeah, basically.
Okay, go.
And also we're with the cap.
Yeah, I mean, right now, listen, the Cowboys are like $20 million over the cap right now, according to Spotrac and overthecap.com. But again, a lot of these contracts could be reworked. I'm just talking about personnel. Would it be worth even entertaining a contract to come back to the Cowboys, or just kind of say, we're good? There's 14 of them. And the first one is a hard one to discuss because of the fact that can't stay healthy, but when he is healthy and he's on the field, he's one of the best in the league. Tyron Smith, his contract's up. It's time to make a decision. Is that somebody that you would try to entertain and maybe sign for a 2-year deal or something like that to at least ensure that he's there as a leader in the locker room, in the clubhouse, and maybe not start because of his, maybe somebody's better. You're done. You're done with Tyron Smith.
You're not cutting him. He's done.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a contract. Don't offer him a contract. Yeah, I agree.
We've been put in too many situations with this. Yeah, Zach Martin will be the guy in the locker room for that.
Yeah, the injuries to him, too many injuries, and
I don't know if he's even played a full season, right? When's the last time he played a full season?
I want to say 2021, but I could be wrong.
And then also, the whole. I mean, you're saying he's the leader. Okay, whatever. I think this team lacks some leadership right now, but I'm fine with it.
All right. Somebody coming off the franchise tag, Tony Pollard. For me, and in talking about Tyron Smith before we move on, I think that, it's the end of the road. And I think Big Tree has fallen too hard too many times. And I love the guy. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to go in the Ring of Honor, hopefully. He's just one of those guys. He's a pillar of this team. But I just don't know if it financially makes any sense. Now, moving on to Tony Pollard, he didn't do himself any favors this year on the franchise tag. He really didn't. And with the running back market the way it is, the way you see these teams cashing in on 7th-round draft picks like Isaiah Pacheco, I think we've seen the last of Tony Pollard. Keith?
Yes.
Guess what? No.
Gone. Yeah, I mean, I don't sign him back. I mean, he's not going to take $3 million. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't put more than $5 million into a running back room right now. And I'd invest in other places.
Bret?
We're all in agreement.
All right, Tony Pollard, goodbye. Love you, sort of. Somebody I think that really needs to be brought back on a 1-year deal on the cheap, and I think he will entertain it because we have Trayvon Diggs coming back. We do have the emergence of Deron Bland, but Stephon Gilmore, I think, needs to come back on this team. And I think that a cheap deal would be great. I don't know if his market's going to be super rich. But I would definitely bring him back. I mean, that's just, I would definitely make that a priority because then Deron Bland can move back into the slot. And now you have 3 corners that can take the ball away. Bret, what do you say, bro?
I'm in agreement. I mean, if we get him on the cheap, which we should because of his age, getting the corners and having the DBs that we got, that's hard to find in today's league, man. I think the Dolphins got lucky like that. The Eagles were playing pretty well with their defensive backs. I can't really think of a better. Well, I would say maybe the Dolphins compare to us, right?
As far as like talent wise,
yeah.
I mean, they had Xavier Howard, and then they went off and traded for Ramsey.
Yeah,
and then they
Jalen Ramsey. But
yeah,
but yeah,
Keith,
keep him absolutely. If we get him on the low, if we get him on the cheap. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. Seems very interesting. Dorrance Armstrong is the next one. He's on our defensive line. He was a rotational player. He rotated in and out with guys like Micah, guys like D-Law. There's another D lineman on this list. So I'll just throw out the next one too, and you could tell me both, keep them, let them both walk, whatever. But one of them being Dorrance Armstrong, the other one being Dante Fowler Jr., who came on at the end of the year, where I feel like he was making a couple big plays. Keith, we'll start with you. Are you bringing either of these guys back?
I'd bring Fowler back. Even though, I mean, I'm very, I mean, I don't understand how we didn't even get one fucking sack against Green Bay in such a huge game. So rough. I think, and I understand, I brought up the holding that's happening to all teams, not just us, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
When you have great pass rushers, the refs seem to let you hold more. But yeah, I mean, look, I would keep Fowler. I would give the people that balled out a chance to come back. The people that let us down in big games and didn't make big plays, I'm not giving them a big contract. No fucking way.
All right. So you're out on Dorrance, in on Fowler on the cheap. Bret?
I mean, on the cheap, I would keep Dorrance. I would try and keep him, man. I mean, you know, we got a year's experience. What do you have? 7, 8 sacks this year, Armstrong?
I'm not sure about his number right now, but what I will say is he's been around this team for a very, very long time. I feel like he's been that guy on the cusp for a lot of his time, and then just towards the back end of this contract, he started to show up a little bit on the stat sheet, at least.
I mean, I don't know if we get him for minimum. I mean, because you got the I don't know. It depends on who's out there. I mean, put it to you like this: he's definitely expendable.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm in on Armstrong. I'm kind of in on Dante Fowler Jr. I know it ain't going to happen. They're not going to be able to keep both. I'd probably just keep the younger one. Or if Dan Quinn is still here, I would keep Fowler.
But what you got to keep in mind, okay? We got to make changes.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, if you're going to come back with all the same fucking players, you know, you got to make some changes here.
Yeah.
I mean, because our defense was a facade. It really fucking was this year.
Mm-hmm. There's another big one. Strong safety / hybrid / whatever you need him to do. Jaron Kearse is a free agent. I know he's very, very vocal on the sidelines. I know a lot of the players, they get along with him. He's, you know, when we signed him, that was a big signing. I felt like he was definitely a game-changing type player. When you look at the back end of the secondary, you know, he was always in the conversation as far as like in on the tackles or in on the stops in the backfield. So I'm bringing back Jaron Kearse if you can. I don't know about you guys, Keith.
No, I'm in on him. I love him.
Brett's in on Kearse.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on him. I just, you know, for his sake and a lot of our defensive backs, safeties' sake, I hope we get some linebackers so he can actually fucking play strong safety and, you know, not have to play a middle linebacker sometimes. You know what I'm saying? At his size. But yeah, I'd definitely take him back for sure.
So we were talking about Trayvon Diggs coming back next year, and hopefully Gilmore, Deron Bland will be back. But Jordan Lewis is a free agent, and I feel like he's been the topic of conversation of having like career days or just completely gone from the stat sheet. So with that, I'm probably not bringing back Jordan Lewis, but I don't even know the market for him. So he might just be back just by default because nobody else will take him. Keith?
Crazy? Jordan Lewis is one of the only ones making fucking defensive plays, dude. I'm all over him.
All right.
No, we bring him back. Did you see?
I love the guy.
Did you see the clip with he's the first one to clip when McCarthy was coming back. He was like, run it back. He's fucking I like him, man. And you know, watching him play, and even Aikman was pointing it out some games. He's one of the only dudes that were coming up defensive back wise, not talking about safeties, that were trying to fucking hit. And he made some plays. No, I'm bringing Jordan Lewis back for sure. Okay. And I hope you're right that no one else wants him, because then we'll get him for cheaper, you know?
Yeah. I don't think his market's going to be too highly contested. You might feel like when we lost, who was it? Cheeto to the Bengals. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They
wasn't
draft, I think.
Huh?
I think they came out the same draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Potentially, yeah. Keith, Brett, what do you feel about Jordan Lewis?
Absolutely keep him, man. I mean, dude, just because you're not making the stats and the other guys are, he's a baller, man. He's a baller. And again, you're going to need that experience as well. If we could, it depends on, again, how much we get him, what his value is in the marketplace. But I think we keep him, man.
All right. This one I think is going to.
You got the backup too, and the experience, and it's a no-brainer to me.
So somebody we traded for in the middle of the year. Was it in the middle of the year or the beginning of the season when they traded away Boss Man Fat and they brought in Noah Iggy. He's a free agent. I don't see any room for him in the cornerback room. He didn't make any plays, so it's like whatever. You're out.
Didn't he block the field goal? Didn't he?
He might have done. I think he ran back one of the field goals.
Oh, ran back against the Giants. Yeah,
it was against the Giants, and I was like, holy shit. But I don't know, man. I don't know if that's enough to keep the guy around. Listen, if he was a massive contributor to the special teams, then maybe. I don't really do the special teams deep dives like I do for the offense and the defense, but it's a big thing. That's why CJ Goodwin's had a job for the last fucking feels like 20 years. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Brett, you in on Noah Iggy, or are you just indifferent?
Don't indifferent.
Yeah. Those kind of people we could just pass over.
I think one of the biggest, or you have two defensive tackles here, and you want to talk about our weak spot would be the middle of our defense, meaning the defensive tackles and the middle linebackers. Both Jonathan Hankins and Neville Gallimore are both free agents. That's a big one. I think the loss of Hankins, when we had no Hankins, we were a shell of ourselves on the defensive run stopping ability. And I understand that Aaron Jones went out there and had his way anyway, but I'm bringing back Big Hank, man. I like Neville Gallimore. I love him. I think he's a great, a funny, just a good dude to have on your roster. But I don't think it makes sense to bring him back. I'm going to throw the whole bag defensive tackle at Jonathan Hankins. Keith,
it's tough, man. I mean, once again, we were gashed by the run, not just against the Packers, against a lot of other teams. I might be okay with letting them probably both go. I'm just saying we got to do something. We got to do something different. We got to get something in there. I wouldn't be mad at either. I'm just saying, but if I had to choose, I might be looking somewhere else.
Brett, how do you feel about the two DTs?
Hankins, man. I mean, when he came back, he looked like he let himself go. Dude, you see him in the uniform?
Yeah.
I don't remember him looking like that, man. It looked like he just was on the couch most of the time. Gallimore, like I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. We need some big bodies. If we had to keep one, I would get Hankins back in shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I'm at
with him.
Dude, we should have never let fucking Ridgeway go, bro.
I get mad every time I hear his name announced to do anything. I'm like, motherfucker.
What the hell are we thinking, man?
He just seemed like a gritty Dallas Cowboys detail.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Chad Henning, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like throwback. Well, our long snapper's up, but Trent Sieg, I'm sure he'll come back he's going to have that LP Lacador money where he's just going to come back for $1 million a year just to snap the fucking ball. Chuma Edoga, swing tackle, is also a free agent. I feel like these guys aren't growing on trees unless you're going to draft one in the first round. I think you got to bring back every offensive lineman possible, except for obviously Tyron if he's going to retire or they just decide not to do it. You guys have a feeling about Chuma or whatever?
I think we bring back everyone that we can. Like you said, I don't think our offensive line was an issue. I saw Dak with plenty of fucking time. People were saying our running backs, but I think our running backs had time shooting gaps and hitting holes. We saw one of probably the worst 2-yard touchdown run in the history of the Dallas Cowboys this year with Tony Pollard against Miami with that was just god awful. The angle, how he came back in. So I meant it just shows if he's making those kind of decisions, who knows if there are holes open or not.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting many
guys.
What's that?
He still rushed for over 1,000 yards. It's not like I just don't think we should be paying him $10 million a year.
But it's not that too. Did he rush for over 1,000?
He did. Yeah. He did. In the last game he went over.
Oh, no, he was over 1,0n before the last game.
In the 19th game of the season?
100%.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Well, look it up right now. I got to know this. that doesn't. I don't see how could he have gotten 1,000, bro. He
did.
He had 100-yard game all fucking season.
Well, when you have 17 of them,
but I mean that's still
even if you average 80 yards a game, you're gonna get over 1,000.
You find it, bro? I can't find my phone. It sucks.
Yeah, he had. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the last name?
Tony Pollard.
No, what was his total yards altogether?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he had 1,005.
Okay,
So,
so it was the last. Yeah. So he barely
went over. He went over. He had 56. No, I'm sorry. He had 70 against Washington. So before that, he was about 65 short.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so if it was a regular season 16 game, he wouldn't have fucking got it.
Two more guys.
Here's the thing that's dangerous, though. He's had 6 touchdowns all year.
Awful.
That's you. That's such a red flag to not even entertain bringing him
And
back.
Pat Volkemer. Hey, asshole. Hey, asshole. Fucking Zeke had 12 last year.
I think Zeke had
anyone can run.
Wait, hold on. Now I gotta know how many times has Zeke scored this year? That's what I want to know.
I'm just laughing at how easy 2-yard runs were. He talked about it, and Tony Pollard's run against the Dolphins is one of the fucking worst runs in the history of the Cowboys.
So Zeke had 3 touchdowns, and he was the backup in fucking New England. Let's go figure that shit out. Yeah. 2 more guys. Speaking of running back, Rico Dowdle, free agent. So now it's like if you're gonna let Pollard walk, you have, I guess you sort of have Malik Davis in the waiting in the wings, but outside of that, you don't have anything else. I mean, you could consider that fullback a running back too, but God knows what the fuck is going to happen with that. But I let the room walk, man. I just think the running back room was just so bad this year that it's just, for me, you have to sell me on why you should come back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's because if I look at the running back stats for this year, that doesn't, I don't sneeze at 1,000. 1,000 people are doing it in their fucking sleep at this point, especially if you're RB1.
Dowdle's NFL high ran out after a few games. He was running really hard, and then you could see it's like, and that happens, like I said, with young running backs. They're in the NFL. They're all excited, and they're fucking running. Then after they get hit a lot, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I made it. I proved my point.
yeah. Made the big leagues, ma.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You start to digress, but I'm with you. I'm with the only one I might keep is Hunter.
Hunter Lipke?
The one that fucking fumbled.
He was drafted, so he's going to be on the roster, you would assume. Unless
I would say only because we really barely use him, and he's getting the system down even though he was missing fucking blocks this season, but he was a rookie. Maybe consider him, but otherwise I'm for a whole fresh new groups, and I'm not for Derrick Henry. Everybody's saying no because he's going to be too much money.
He might not be.
Yeah, he will, bro. You think he's going to play with us for $2 million? Get the fuck out of here.
Why is that our budget for running backs?
Because we should not be giving a 31-year-old running back fucking $7-8 million a year. We just shouldn't. It's a waste of money. History showed it. Once again, I'm going to bring up Eddie George. Eddie George was the same thing. Came from Tennessee. Everyone was all excited. Even ran for almost 1,000 yards his last season at Tennessee. They fucking brought him in, and sure enough, he was not. I mean, to be a bruiser in the NFL, man, is one of the hardest fucking things to do, and he's been doing it for a long time. I would not invest a lot of money in Henry. Now, if you can get him for cheap, yeah. And I'll stand up to this again. I'm not spending a lot of money in the running back room, dude. I'm just not.
So what if I'll give you a hypothetical. What if, let's just say his APY, average per year, is 8. We sign him to a 2-year, $16 million contract with like the first year is like 6 and the back end is 10. But then you draft, and then those guys are worth pretty much nothing. Are you cool with that? Like, are you? No.
It's going to be a waste.
Money do you want these running backs to make?
Be a waste. I'm telling you, it's going to be a waste.
Well, what do you think Pacheco's going to warrant when his contract's up?
Pacheco?
Yeah.
Well, Pacheco's a young running back.
I understand.
I want a young guy. I don't want an old guy. Look, the Emmitt Smith, Walter Paytons, those are done. You very rarely see guys making it in their fucking 30s and keep. Devontae Freeman was done by the time he was 29, 30. Fucking Todd Gurley, I know he had a knee injury. I bet there's so many fucking running backs that were killing it, and then he's available now. Look at Steven Jackson.
Oh, I was just gonna say that was on the
Falcons.
tip of my tongue,
He's gonna. Then he declined, and they gave him all this money. No,
yeah,
I just don't want it. I don't want it. Look, he might have one or two good. If you want to sign him for $6-8 million, so he has one or two good games.
But if you think but what I'm saying is, if you think right now the Cowboys feel like, just based off of what I've read and what the coaches have said, is that, and people are going to fucking drive off the road or just roll their eyes. They're right there. They're right there. They're like a missing piece away. Do you think a running back at the goal line would be a fucking one of those big missing pieces is what I'm saying.
I don't know, man.
Derrick Henry scores on the play that Pollard did not. I'm telling you right now.
Well, absolutely. But I'm just saying you could find a bruiser in the fucking draft. You could find a big running back.
Here, guys, really quick. So how about this, though? The kid he averaged over 3 yards a carry. He averaged over the season 4 yards a carry. Okay, so, he's still good for a first down on 3 handoffs.
Who, Derrick Henry?
No, we're talking about getting back to Pollard, right? So he only had 6 touchdowns. Well, then you got to ask yourself, that's why he rushed over 1,000, is what Keith's point is, okay, we just bring him in for the goal line? If we draft, what's his name? The big dude. The guy we're just talking about.
Derrick Henry, if we get him in free agency.
Yeah, so we just bring him in. We just bring Derrick Henry in at the goal line, and that's your point, just to get touchdowns. Because again, look, Tony Pollard he didn't shit the bed, but he's not worth $10 million this season. Okay,
I think he more shit the bed than played well.
I mean, again, I'm looking at his stats. Average.
I got you, bro. But I meant, you always say stats are deceiving. We watch the games.
He still maintained drives and got us some first downs.
Yeah, but he also was going down on fucking ankle tackles.
Yeah, but the problem is the overall thing is, Brett, is that not too long ago, probably within a month ago, we were talking about how Pollard's just not an RB1. He's just not. You know what I mean? Like, he was better as the second back.
I think he missed a gear, not a step, a gear.
Yeah,
he doesn't have that gear he had.
The only guy I would consider as a free agent, just so you know, as a running back, the only one that I would maybe pay for is Jacobs. That's it.
Can I interest you in Saquon Barkley?
Maybe. I think
that's got a nice little
young, but he's a dancer too. He's a dancer too,
He is a dancer, but he's that ball's in his hands. That boy can make some plays.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand.
Is that is the style of offense the same? People forget that too. It's like that stupid Barry argument. If he played behind Dallas, he may not have rushed for as many yards as he did in Detroit because that offense suited him. So is this style of offense that we're running suitable for a guy named Saquon? And then again, suitable for Saquon. And then how much are we going to pay him? Because he's going to demand a high price tag.
Well, here's the thing. I think that what we've seen over the last couple of years is that the running back market, yes, it was reset by Zeke. And then, yes, it was kind of reset again by CMC. But people are starting to realize, I can piece this shit together. You know what I mean? I can get a guy in the 7th round who's going to run like he's angry at the world, like Pacheco.
Well, then that's my question to both of you. Do we clear the running back room and just try and draft?
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying.
And a guy we haven't even
in free agency and draft.
We haven't even mentioned Deuce. It's like Deuce Vaughn.
No, he's gone, bro. They don't know how to use him. I mean, he's gone. And I hope he goes somewhere. And I can't wait to revisit the fucking conversation again. They blew that.
Last guy we'll talk about real quick is Tyler Biadasz. The badass is also a free agent. I say,
yes,
bring him back. If he's Dak's center, you got to bring him back. It's one of those things. That's easy. That's kind of like a no-brainer to me. And he's actually played well. I don't think you never talk about a bad offensive game and say, man, fucking if Tyler Biadasz would have played better. You know what I mean? Like, I just haven't had that conversation with anybody really about Tyler. So I'm bringing him back. So we'll see. Free agency obviously starts, I believe, in the beginning of March. We got the NFC and AFC championship games this Sunday. We'll figure out who's going to be playing in that game. we'll figure out about this podcast as far as how much off-season stuff we're going to do. Hey, listen, I always like the nostalgic shit, so these guys are on board.
Wait, before we leave, I want to do my 3 on you calls of the year.
Oh, all right. You got them listed? Here we go.
Yeah. Number 3 is Dave Sturchio.
the whole person? Just me?
No, not you. Just some things we've said.
Okay.
And the biggest call is you going.
Why do I feel like all 3 of these are going to be
no,
me?
they're not. We each got one. You should feel good because we each got one and you're number 3. So that means me and Brett are going to be either number 1. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You're third. You're third right now.
Got it.
The call is you going, hey, man, all I know is
get through it.
All I know is if we get home field advantage through the playoffs, we're going to the Super Bowl. Hold on. Wait, let me finish my call. Don't say anything.
God
and we lose. Hold on. And we lose to the worst record fucking team in the whole playoffs. And we don't just lose, we get fucking humiliated. I'm you, and I'm that fucking hold on, ready? Bro, ready? You better not give us home field advantage. You better watch out. I'm you. Fucking awful. All right, the second call
that should have been number 1, honestly.
No, that's not number 1.
All right.
Number 1's kind of I think is pretty good call. Number 2 is Brett.
Wow, at least you gave yourself number 1 on you call. So go ahead.
I did because it's pretty generic.
I'm me this whole season.
But I'm this. I'm the hey man. I've been watching this team in training camp and they're different. Hey man, I'm watching the sounds of the sun. There's a camaraderie. There's something there, man. There's just is there something magical? Is there magic in the universe going? I'm you and I'm our fucking team.
You know what makes it even worse is that I really sincerely believed it.
I know you did. I know.
That makes it all even worse. It wasn't just me trying to be magical and and hopeful thinking and no vision board shit. I honestly fucking believed it.
And it's a call because it was awful. So here's the number 1 call.
Number 1.
And it's me because it's like literally what eliminated us is this team goes through our defense. They got fucking abused. That was fucking awful. I'm that call and I'm me. Look, if we're going to win, it's going to be our defense. It's not going to be Dak, which is the complete fucking opposite of the whole year. That's why we lost.
Perfect. Fucking
what's hilarious too is that and all of these calls come together against Green Bay. We're at home, our
really
kids to bed, and there was
yeah.
no camaraderie or fucking nothing.
So we
basically
built the demise of our own team with our own calls. Wow, this is like a fucking true Hollywood story or some shit. For a 30 for 30. Like, what if I told you 3 idiots from Jersey made calls?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, listen. Enjoy the NFL championship Sunday. Obviously, we're not there, so that blows overall. But anybody, any picks, any wants, or what do you want to see? What do you think is going to happen?
He's going to pull the upset, bro.
I think Casey's probably
Everybody doubted them. I meant people thought the Dolphins were going to beat them. People thought the Bills were going to beat them. That's a team that got complacent because they win all the fucking time, and they finally said, "You guys ready? Let's fucking do this. Let's show them who we are." And that's what they're doing.
I'm Jason Kelsey, by the way, wearing Chiefs gear as a fucking 3-day removed retiree of the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm him taking his shirt off. Oh, crazy fat white guy. Oh, it's a crazy fat white guy. I'm him.
I'm Bert Kreischer. Like, all right, we've seen this shtick before there, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Brett, you like anybody this weekend or what?
I think the Ravens, man. I think the Ravens should win.
All right.
And
by the way, talking about that, did you guys see the TMZ with Natasha Leggero?
No.
Dude, she's so awesome. You know how Bert takes his shirt off all the time?
Oh, she took hers off too.
Yeah, she had her titties out at the Improv and just started doing it.
That's true. Yeah.
I love it.
I did see it. I did see that. That was great. All right. So he's got the Ravens. We both got the Chiefs. I was on the Ravens the entire time, but it's just something about whatever the fuck is happening with this Mahomes shit. It just seems like he's on the road. It doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't, dude. They did what the fuck they wanted with Buffalo, and I'm everyone coming after the kicker.
Yeah, seriously.
Buffalo.
How about Stephon Diggs? Catch a fucking ball, dude.
Dude, and how about Josh Allen missing homeboy in the fucking end zone?
And I'm also Stephon Diggs, future receiver for the Dallas Cowboys.
But how about there were still 1 minute and 43 seconds left with 2 timeouts? You really think Mahomes wasn't going to get in field goal range and fucking win?
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here.
What do you like, Detroit or San Fran?
I'm going with Detroit.
Wow, on the road. What a story. What a story that would be. I think San Fran is well equipped, especially if Debo's okay. Detroit's been a fun team, but I'm just going to go with that stupid conspiracy theorist logo. But no, the Chiefs are going to win. So
I'd say the 49ers, but I will say, Jared Goff is familiar with them. I mean, he played in that division for a while, so it's not like it's he's not scared of them. Some might think, but I mean, it might be a good game. But honestly, I don't want the Niners only because we're protecting records. But for some reason, I just think Detroit, I think their fans are ready to be dicks. And when I say that is, they're going to be the biggest assholes if they fucking win a Super Bowl. They're going to get on the cowboy thing. They're going to be, ha, ha.
No, they already are. They already are.
I told you fucking boo Matt Stafford and make his kids cry. The fuck is wrong with you guys? What are you, Eagle fans?
Bro.
What?
Listen.
What?
There's nothing worse than the 49ers if they win a Super Bowl. Nothing worse.
Nah, I see Keith over there with a new tattoo that says "Bang Bang Niner Gang."
And on top of that, Detroit, they have a right to be dicks, dude. They haven't won a championship since
ever.
Well, they should still be humble.
I think since Mom was born. Dude, I'm dead serious. Something like 76, 77 years, man.
Yeah, fucking season ticket holders in there, and they're basically 1 foot in the grave. And they're like, I've been watching this fucking team. So
I saw that one old dude. He was great.
Yeah, the one old guy. Yeah, he's just out there like celebrating. He's like, what's today? It's like, all right, good, buddy.
Dude, I mean, that's going to be us if we're lucky, if we live that long.
Yeah, that is us. That's going to be us. I'm us at the fucking, oh my God. I'm us at the fucking opening day.
There's a new version of like, there's something else going on and we're still podcasting. Like, but there's something new.
Right.
And we're all.
You guys do a podcast? Do you remember podcast? Yeah, that's when you used to talk on the mic.
But I'm saying we're still in the format because we're old. and Keith is like 100 times more miserable than he is now. And he's complaining about his grandkids.
And Dave's gonna start. A little Starch is gonna be out there, like, guys, did you see that they expanded the playoffs to 22 teams? And when they do that, we're gonna get the 1 seed, and we will not be denied if we get the home field advantage.
But wait, you're both grandfathers, and I'm clipping some 30-year-old at 80 because they developed this new like Viagra that lasts a whole year on one pill.
Send it my way. Anyway, that'll do it here from the Jersey Boyz Podcast for Dave Sturchio, Bret and Keith Ernst. This has been another episode. Enjoy the NFL, and we'll probably see you next week.